What's up, Redneck Outdoor Adventures? Today I'm going to be installing a big radiator kit on my Polaris high lifter 2016. Some of you guys may know I'm running a Boondocker turbo kit on it. Last weekend down at Blue Holler during the Redneck Rave, it was 95. It got up a little over 100 degrees. And out on the trails, you know, I'm only so many people down there doing 10, 15, 20 mile an hour. I was getting some high temps running around 215, 218. And with the Dyno Jet tune I have, the tuner, it was pulling timing because it was getting high intake air temp. Anything over 140, it starts pulling some timing. I talked to Boondocker about it. And the engine coolant temp was getting pretty warm. I'm just running the stock radiator on that Garrett 2860 performance turbo that's on this. That's got coolant running through it. So that's heating my motor up. So I come home and I ordered a big radiator kit Boondocker sells. I'll be doing a little installation video. If any of you guys have already watched my turbo install video on this machine, I figured I might as well do this. Nice radiator, well made. Like I said, I got this through Boondocker.com. I got it for $450. Brackets, everything to install. This is about 3 times the size of what's on here right now. So this will help keep my coolant temps down. First thing I'm going to start out with is disconnect my battery. Get the battery disconnected. And then I need to unhook my winch. Like I said, this is a high lifter, so the winch and bumper has to come off. And the front fascia has to come off to do this install. So I'm going to get started on that. As you can see, the OEM radiator sitting in here. And this is my cooler for the intercooler. If you're wondering about this turbo kit, you can go down through my videos and find the installation video. I'm running 12 pounds of boost because I'm still on stock internals on the motor. This is a pump that starts circulating coolant through the cooler and back to the air box where the intercooler is on the inside. It's circulating as soon as I turn my key on, and it's just mounted onto the front of the radiator. So I gotta pull this front fascia off the bumper and start getting all this out of here. Now I'm getting this bumper off. I've never had this bumper off here before. So the two bottom bolts on this high lifter, try to put this in here where you can see, they have expansion plugs. So I bent them back in a little bit, and I still can't yank this bumper off here. So I have a metric bolt already made for my slide hammer. I'm going to attempt to use my slide hammer to yank these expansion plugs out. So that's what I'm working on right now. I don't plan on using these again. I'm going to use I should be able to just use a bolt and a nut, put this bumper back on. Well, got the bumper off. You see these expansion plugs they have in there? I had to smash them in a little bit, get some more yanking on it. Come on. Alright, so I got the bumper off, front fascia off. Hardest part was getting them expansion plugs out. We got a high lifter. After actually seeing how these work, these expansion plugs, they sit in the bumper, they twist. If you actually untwist these a little bit, the bumper will come right off. And fold these expansion tabs up and knock them out. I got the cooler off my front radiator. It's just held on by a couple, or a type of zip tie that Boondocker has that goes through the radiator, and it has a push-on clip. Right here they are. Let's see it very well. My garage is not the greatest. They're square on one end, They got a foam pad that you slide down through to help protect the radiator, and then these slide right on. They work just like a zip tie, but got that off my radiator. I should not have to unhook my coolant lines from that. I'm getting ready to take these black tube brackets out, and then I'm going to pinch off my radiator lines, the upper and lower. I'm going to put some vice grips on them so I'm not draining my whole entire system. They told me that'd be the best thing to do, is pinch some lines off and then pull this radiator out of here. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. I'm using this time lapse because I'm here trying to do this on my own, and it's hard to record and work at the same time. If you have any questions, please leave me some comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Alright, I got the radiator out. Really wasn't too bad. Got the fan off. Getting ready to mount it onto the new one. And I got the old radiator out here. Anybody watching this? I will be selling this radiator. I filled it full of water. Washed it out really good. Making sure it holds water, is not leaking. So I'll be posting that on Facebook Marketplace. So it is time to get the fan mounted on this new one. Watch out, Daisy. Daisy's trying to help. Trying to help. Want to say hi to everybody? Huh? You want to say hi? Hey, say hi. Daisy, want to say hi? Is that it? That's all they get? Huh? Go say hi or not? That's better. So, I'm sure I get the top and bottom right. Bolt that right on there. Alright, I got the bottom radiator mount in here. Now I called Boondocker and asked them if I was going to be able to get this winch plate out with this bracket and the radiator in. They told me no. So looking at it, it looks to me like I will still be able to get this bracket out. I'd really like to keep this bracket in there because it acts as a frame gusset. I mean, my winch is on my bumper. I know a lot of machines don't even have the winch bracket in there, but if I can run this bracket, I want to leave it in there because it's going to stiffen this whole front end up. So I'm going to try to unbolt this bracket and see if I can still pull it out with the bracket in here. If I can't get it out, then I'm going to have to just leave it out. I don't want to pull my radiator and this bracket off if I have to pull my diff. I'm hoping my diff still comes out. They didn't say my diff would come out with the radiator in there, so that's my next step, is try to get that bracket out with the radiator bracket. Alright, so I can't get the winch bracket out without doing anything with the radiator, so I'm going to leave that in there. Still had plenty of room to pull that out of there to get my diff out. I know a lot of people probably gonna say, oh, you don't need that in there. Well, I'm gonna keep it in there because it is extra frame support. So we'll pop it back in there real quick and bolt it back up. Alright, I got the winch plate back in there. Next step is get this cooler mounted back onto the front of this big turbo kit. Big radiator, I mean. So I'm going to turn my time lapse back on. Alright, I got the cooler fastened on there with the zip tie fasteners they give you for the Radiator that go right through it. And I got 2 zinc screws they give me. Drilled them holes. Got that top fastened. Hooked up my 2 coolant lines to the Radiator. And when I clamped them off with vice grips, I did put a rag, wrap a rag around them hoses so you're not cutting your hoses. Pinched them off. Got them on there, some hose clamps. I'm not putting the factory clamps back on. Plugged the fan back in. Hooked up my vent tube for the diff. So I unhooked that to see if that winch plate would come out. Filled it full of antifreeze. I kind of filled it slow, and once I got it full, I kind of squeezed my coolant lines to get any air bubbles out. So the Radiator's full of coolant. Now all I gotta do is put these 2 brackets in for the top. Alright, well, I ran into a hiccup here. For some reason, when I go to mount this bracket back up to my frame, I got a big gap, and only bolts I have are the factory bolts I took out of the original bracket. So I'm going to call Boondocker tomorrow and let them know about that, and it's really not big of a deal. I can go down to the hardware store and get some longer bolts and just make a spacer. Kind of sucks, but I'm going to be letting Boondocker know about this. I don't know if they, not sure why this is made, high lifter made it a little different than the other models. So it's Sunday. I'll have to wait till tomorrow on Monday. I want to go ahead and put the front fascia back on and the bumper. I can worry about getting that bolted up to the frame tomorrow. All I had to do on this bracket was I put it in the vise and I bent this end down about 1.5 inches. I bent it, and then I re-drilled another hole to fasten this bracket down to the frame, so I didn't put no longer bolt and spacer in there. They told me that's all I had to do was pretty much bend it to fit. The brackets are made. You just gotta bend it to fit, so it's pushing down on the Radiator like it's supposed to. This is a product I've been using on this machine. Works excellent. Very affordable. Get it at Walmart. I got paid like $18 for this bottle. I can do the whole machine twice with one bottle. The entire machine, I mean everything. It dries. It's not oily, so the dust doesn't stick to it. So I'm just thought I'd throw that in there. McGuire's, I could use a sponsor. Yeah, right. But I'm gonna just clean my front fascia up a little bit before I put my bumper back on. This job is complete, other than leave the radiator cap off right now. Battery's hooked up. I'll let it sit here and warm up. Make sure I got it full of antifreeze. It's about 80 degrees out here. Like I said, my install video is also on my channel on the clutch or on the turbo. It's a Garrett 2860.